Situated on the River Thames to the east of London, Maritime Greenwich is a World Heritage Site famous for offering such attractions as the Cutty Sark, the Royal Observatory, the National Maritime Museum and the Old Royal Naval College. The Old Royal Naval College, originally Greenwich Naval Hospital, is Sir Christopher Wren's domed masterpiece at the centre of the heritage site. Within the complex is the former college dining room, known as the Painted Hall. This magnificent hall, painted by James Thornhill and recently restored, is recognised as the greatest piece of decorative painting in England and has been described as the Sistine Chapel of the UK. Opposite the hall is the Chapel of St Peter and St Paul, a neoclassical masterpiece by James Stewart and William Newton. It is reputed to be one of the finest 18th century interiors in the UK. The British clipper ship Cutty Sark was built on the Clyde in 1869 for the Jock Willis shipping line. She was one of the last tea clippers to be built and one of the fastest, coming at the end of a long period of design development. The ship has been on display in Greenwich since 1954, but was seriously damaged by fire in 2007 while undergoing conservation. She was restored by public subscription and lottery funding and was reopened to the public on the 25th of April 2012, although her setting has been the subject of much public debate. Time for something to eat, and no better place than Greenwich Market. There has been a market at Greenwich since the 14th century, but the history of the present market dates from 1700, when a charter to run the market was given to the commissioners of Greenwich Hospital for 1,000 years. The National Maritime Museum in Greenwich is the leading maritime museum of the United Kingdom and may be the largest museum of its kind in the world. Stories about Britain's encounter with the world at sea are depicted in the galleries, recalling the romance of the great ocean liners, the history of trade across the Atlantic, the impact of the East India Company on British culture, and the great Admiral Nelson. Prince Frederick's beautiful gilded barge is on display together with many other exhibits. A short but steep climb through the lower Greenwich Park leads to the Royal Observatory, with stunning views on the way. Overlooking the River Thames, the Royal Observatory played a major role in the history of astronomy and navigation, and is best known as the location of the prime meridian, where east meets west, with a suitable line embedded in the courtyard for people to stand astride. At present, the observatory buildings at Greenwich include a museum of astronomical and navigational tools, including John Harrison's sea watch and 3 earlier marine timekeepers. Many additional artefacts are displayed documenting the history of precision timekeeping for navigational and astronomical purposes. The most historic of all royal parks, Greenwich Park, dates back to Roman times and was enclosed in 1427. Included in the attractions are extensive flower gardens, complete with large duck ponds, a rose garden, boating lake, a bandstand, and many 17th century chestnut trees with gnarled and swirling trunks. Roman remains and a wild deer enclosure add to the interest. From the statue of General Wolfe, the park offers imperious views across the River Thames, all the way to St Paul's Cathedral, with the tower blocks of Dockland dominating. The World Heritage Town of Greenwich certainly has a lot to offer and will provide an excellent day out.